Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Against the Flow. This is the fourth episode of my podcast, and if you are watching this on video, you can see that I'm in my car recording this podcast actually. And yes, I do have this in both video and audio format, so if you want to see me talk, see my face, go ahead and watch it on my YouTube channel. I will have that in the show notes posted. And I'll explain why I'm in my car in just a little bit. But for today's podcast, I actually wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind. And actually, a lot of things are on my mind. That's why I started a podcast. And what I'm doing right now, it's actually kind of inspired me to talk about today's topic, which I will get to in just a little bit. And before we get into the podcast, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Yenoh Sounds. That's YENOH Sounds. And subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to this podcast and leave a review because I want to know what you guys think. Just have your insights on the podcast or just leave a comment saying hi. I would like to see them and talk to you guys. So without further ado, we're going to get into the fourth episode of Against the Flow. So first thing that I want to address is why I am recording in my car and not my usual setting. So I'm in my car because I'm actually on my lunch break at work. I do work a 9-to-5 job and I have an hour lunch, and I just finished my lunch and I decided I'm going to record a podcast. And that actually made me think of what I'm going to talk about, and that just gave me an idea of what I'm actually doing right now. And that's today's topic is putting time aside to do what you love, making time for things that you love. If you really love it that much, then you will make time for it without a question. No doubt about it, you will do it. And just to give you some more insight on making time for the things that you love is pretty much what I'm doing right now. And just to break it down, what I'm doing pretty much daily is I wake up in the morning and I go to work. And during that drive to work, I drive about 30-40 minutes, sometimes even 50 minutes. And I use that time to educate myself, listen to podcasts, and trying to get my mind going and thinking about what I'm going to do at the end of the day and after work. And once I arrive at work, I just pretty much do my work there. And on my lunch break, I usually take an hour lunch break and I eat as fast as I can, and then I take a nap. And I will explain why in just a little bit. So after lunch, I would go back to work, and at the end of the day, I would go work out. And my workouts are usually an hour 15, depending on what I'm doing that day. And when I'm on my way home, I also listen to podcasts, but sometimes I listen to music as well. And then once I'm home, I eat a little bit, I watch some shows that I'm interested in right now. And then at the end of the day, around 9:30 is when I pretty much lock myself in my room and I work on music. Now, it could mean anything from actually producing or creating content, or kind of planning out when I'm going to film a podcast or what I'm going to be filming about, just to keep my mind going and keep my mind focused. And pretty much I do anything that help push my career and contribute to what I'm wanting to do eventually full time. And I also kind of do this on weekends, but except I don't have work, so that gives me more time to work on my music. And again, it could be producing, creating content, all that stuff. And that's pretty much what I use my weekends for. And I spend majority of my weekend working on music, and at night it kind of gives me time to just grab dinner or go see a movie or whatever, because I have been pretty much productive all day, so I just kind of give myself a little break at the end of the night, or just to go hang out and relax. And that's pretty much my daily and my weekly schedule. Technically, that's my monthly schedule, really. And granted, I also do procrastinate once in a while. I mean, sometimes I end up watching a show for too long. I just want to go to the next episode, or I go down the rabbit hole on YouTube, or I'm scrolling through social media for too long. But the thing that kind of gets me to focus again or to refocus is I ask myself once I catch myself procrastinating, I ask myself, if my future self looks back at this moment, would I be proud of myself? Would I be proud that I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Would I be proud of myself for being lazy and procrastinating? And most of the time, or 100% of the time, it's no. I wouldn't feel good about it because I have this free time that I could be investing into my future. But I was never always like this. I used to binge watch on Netflix and YouTube and waste a lot of time on the weekdays after school and after work, and even on the weekends. After wasting a lot of time, I would go out and I would party and do all these crazy things, and I just kept making excuses as to why I don't have time to work on music. And it was just a horrible mindset to have in general. It wasn't until I realized that every second or every minute you spend doing something, that time is gone forever and you can't get it back. It would be considered the past, and unless you have a time machine, then you can go back and change what you do. But until then, it's just using your time wisely. And another thing that I realized is that everybody has the same 24 hours within the day. Whoever you are, in whatever situation you are, everybody has the same 24 hours within a day. It's just how you use it and how you utilize that time. And how I started to build a foundation for my routine was I realized that I was actually wasting a lot of time. So what I did was I started to make it a habit to document everything I did and when I did it, even what I ate and what time I ate. And it kind of made me realize that I was actually wasting a lot of time doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, or I'm wasting a lot of time on stuff that is irrelevant and unnecessary, that it's literally just a waste of time to do that thing. And once I realized how much time I was actually wasting, I decided to sit down and plan out my day and plan out my evening accordingly to make myself a little more productive. Now, it doesn't have to be a major change on what you do on a daily schedule, but it could be a minor change. Instead of watching 3 hours of Netflix and scrolling through social media, you can cut it back to 2 hours, and then you cut it back to 1 hour, and then 30 minutes. And right before you know it, you probably won't be on it that much anymore. So that's exactly what I did. And like I said, I still watch my favorite shows here and there. And there are a few times where I decide to watch another episode. And it kind of made me realize how important it is to really have a routine and actually stick to it. So this pretty much helped me build my foundation for a solid routine. I would dedicate my time on this day to do one thing. I would dedicate my time on another day to do another thing. And it's just those small changes that really add up to a major change that will be life-changing. And I've stuck with my routine for so long that it's gotten to the point where if I don't follow through with my routine, or I don't do something that I should be doing, or I do something that I shouldn't be doing, I feel like an opportunity is wasted, and I feel really bad, with an exception of being with my family or being with my girlfriend. So the key point I'm trying to make here is you make time for the things that you love. And this is exactly why I decided to film an episode of my podcast in my car. It's because I want to grow my brand. I want to be successful in my career, that I'm willing to carve out some time during my lunch in my car and record a podcast and do something productive that will contribute to my success in the future. So that's pretty much the point I'm trying to make here. You make time for the things that you love without a question, without a doubt. You will do it if you love it as much as you say you do. So that pretty much wraps up today's podcast. I know today's episode was a pretty short podcast because I am limited on time, because I am at lunch at work right now. But the key thing is make time for the things that you love, because while I'm doing this right now at work in my car, I don't feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like I did something productive, and I feel a little more disciplined than I did a few weeks ago. And when I get back to work in just a few moments, I'm going to feel proud of myself and feel disciplined that I actually did something that I normally don't do. So to wrap up today's episode, let me know what you guys think about this topic. What do you spend your time on? And how do you think you can spend it better? Let me know. I would love to know your thoughts, your comments, hear you tell your story, and I would just like to connect with you guys. So let me know. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, Yeno Sounds, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment on this podcast. Give it a 5-star rating, leave a review. I want to know what you guys thought, what I could be doing better, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. I want to know what you guys' thoughts are. So thank you for tuning in on today's episode, and I hope you guys have a great day.